This video is about how to pass the CVS Virtual Job Tryout thing that you have to do to get hired there. I'm a business consultant. I have my own company. I've been consulting mostly for like Fortune 500 type companies for between 15 and 20 years. But I recently helped a young friend of mine enter the workforce for the first time, did their resume up real good, and they applied at CVS. Manager was blown away. They were looking for something entry level. The manager was like, "No, you should be a store supervisor." Basically, it was a done deal. He's like, "You just have to pass the virtual job tryout and you're hired." So my friend takes it, and they fail. And I decided, well, I want to take it. I want to see what this thing is about. And I realized very quickly in that CVS does not want honest people. They do not want real people. They want liars. If you want to pass, you must lie. I lied on like probably 90% of it. In a lot of cases, I picked the opposite of what I would do in real life, the opposite of what I thought the actual smart business decision was. And I have my results, which you can see right here. And you're not supposed to get these, but I have them. And you can see that I am a high in like these top three areas. So it just breaks it down in like four buckets, like customer service, teamwork, drive sales, and then follows procedures, which is funny. I got a low on that one. I'll talk about that in a minute. But there's something here where I think you have to get like two highs out of four or whatever to get hired or something like that. But you can see like I did really good, right? And then you look at my friend here, and my friend did really bad, right? They got low, 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 one medium, and low. And the really funny thing about this is that um, it looks to them like I'm the perfect candidate, and like my young friend here is not a good fit. And nothing could be further from the truth. My other friend is like great for this job. I am terrible for this job. But again, I realize you must lie. If you answer this thing truthfully, you will not pass. And I talked to the store manager, and they acknowledged that. They actually said that when they were up for promotion, they failed their store manager virtual job tryout, and they had to wait like 6 months to take it again. And they realized, okay, I just have to lie. So they just lied on everything. It shouldn't surprise me, but it is just it's I, it never ceases to amaze me. I mean, it's appalling that in 2025 they're still using this ridiculous, utterly incompetent, quiz that doesn't make any sense. It's just, it's laughable. So I'm gonna go through this very quickly and just show you some examples. But bottom line is, you want to pass, you gotta lie. All right. The first section is probably the best. It's just like 8 scenario questions. They're kind of challenging actually, and how to use my brain on these. And I thought this part was actually pretty good. And I thought this was like the whole test. I didn't realize that it was going to take me like an hour and a half to complete this thing. And there was like I don't know how many hundreds of questions or whatever. But these scenarios are actually pretty decent. The first one was it's like, okay, what's the most likely thing you would do? What's the least likely thing you would do? You have to remember that it tells you up front, like you're in charge. You're the manager on duty, so they're looking for you to make decisions. And also, there's a lot of context clues in the questions. So, like the first question was like, you have theft. You have theft going on for some specific items, and you have very limited staff. And the theft is occurring, at like off peak hours, late at night. So, like, what do you do? So, like, I said, okay, most likely thing I would do, I'm going to limit the quantity of those high theft items on the shelves. Least likely thing I'm going to do is like take a cashier off the front and have them like roam the store, because again, it says like we're short on staff, right? So it's those kinds of questions. All right, so I want to call attention to this question in particular. This is question 7. I'm not sure if it jumbles up the order. Probably not, because they're clearly that incompetent. But bottom line is, a customer wants to return an open item with no receipt due to an allergic reaction. Returns for cashback require a receipt. However, it says you can make an exception because, again, I'm the manager on duty. Now, too many returns with no receipt harms profit, of course. That's a context clue in there. And this was before I realized that I needed to lie on it on the questions. I was thinking about this real world, and shortly after this, when I saw some how ridiculous the questions were getting, I was like, okay, I answered that one wrong. And if you flip back to my results and you see I scored a 1 on the following procedures, this is like why, right? So, but if you look at the answers, there's a lot of clues in the answers. So, number one, like the first one here, okay, be consistent in enforcing the policy to protect profits, right? That's clearly what they want. And interestingly, that's what I said the least thing to do was. But if you ask, well, why? Why do I feel that way? Well, it says I can make an exception. And it says right here, okay, give the customer a store credit for the price of the product. It's a loss, but it will lessen the impact. The customer had an allergic reaction to an item. It's implied that it's a small item. It's implied that it's not like a high dollar item, whatever. What's the big deal? Give them a store credit, move on. I'm allowed to make an exception. So I am following the policy. The policy says, as a manager, I can make an exception. And if you read these other responses here, it says like you don't believe the customer has done this before. It's not worth losing a customer over a small dollar amount, which implies that we're talking about something that's like $10. It implies that as the manager, I would know if this is a serial offender. They're probably a regular customer. And so there's no reason in my mind why I wouldn't just offer a store credit, which, by the way, a store credit for a product without a receipt that you know you bought there, that's still standard practice at most department stores. So, classic example of why you need to lie. All right, so this next section here is just like it's pretty short, and it's like pick what's most impactful and what's least impactful to the store. This is mostly about sales, so I'm not going to really go through these, but you could just kind of tell like they're focusing a lot about sales. This is probably driving one of those results sections. But then you get to the next part, and it's like, oh wow, there's 28 more questions. And this is where it starts to get really, really egregious. And somewhere in here is when I realized, oh wow, okay, they really do want you to just absolutely BS this thing. So I mean, one of these, like this one in particular, is like, would I rather help people or would I rather have a good work-life balance? Like, why can't I have both of those things? What do you mean I prefer a job where I get one or the other? Like, yes, who doesn't want a work-life balance? And this one's so great. Would I rather have a job where I get a large paycheck or I provide great service to customers? I mean, come on. And here you can see why I scored so low on the following procedures. I mean, do I want a company with firm processes and structure or a company that respects work-life balance? And clearly I'm not lying enough. Fast forwarding through some of these, and here you can see is when I realized, oh no, I really need to lie on all these. I mean, do I want a job? Is it more important to have a job where I get paid for my work or that I don't get paid for my work, but they really respect protocol? So obviously I'm going to pick that one since that's what they want to hear. And this is maybe the best one of them all. I mean, there's too many to go through, but would I prefer a job where I provide outstanding service to customers or a job where I don't sacrifice my personal life to meet work goals? I mean, what I just who would work for this company? Who would ever want to work for CVS? Basically, it's implied by knowing which answer they want to hear that I'm expected to sacrifice my personal life to meet work goals at a CVS pharmacy as a shift supervisor. Who would ever want to work here? I would instantly exit this, quit. There are so many other jobs out there. You can go to any restaurant, department store, Panera Bread, you name it. Why would anyone ever even bother to complete this? The funny thing is, I mean, I make a lot of money consulting. I don't sacrifice my personal life to meet work goals at my level. Why would anyone do that as a low wage hourly employee, basically a shift lead at a small store or a restaurant? Why would anyone expect you to sacrifice your personal life for any job, let alone that job? I really wonder Like, do the back office people, do the executives, the white collar folks, the IT people at CVS, are they taking something like this? Are they expected to sacrifice their personal life to crank out widgets? It's ridiculous. Anyway, this thing just keeps going. There's another little section here about really dumb questions they shouldn't even be asking, like, how long do you plan to work here? 6 months or 10 plus years, the rest of your life, of course. And then we finally get to the last section, which is also very long and very, in my mind, just ridiculous. Just asking a bunch of like personality type questions. But basically, bottom line is, I just, I, I wouldn't even bother. Like, I think the average position here is paying something, around like maybe $18 an hour. I mean, why would you subject yourself to this? It doesn't make any sense. And to be rejected, it's just unfortunate. Like my friend was like such a great, fit for this. And I'm such a terrible fit. But it's their loss. So anyway, hope this helps you out. If for some reason, I can't imagine why, you just really, really want to work at CVS.